Hello students. So now let's come to some more interesting facts of the UV EPROM. So there is some steps, that's how we can program the UV EPROM. So in my last lecture I have already discussed about the UV EPROM. So in whenever we need to recharge our reprogram our UV EPROM, then there are some steps. Its contents must be erased, and to erase the chip, remove it from its socket on the system board and place it in the EPROM eraser equipment to expose it to the ultraviolet radiation to 5 to 20 minutes. The program the chip, and then to program a ultraviolet UV EPROM chip, place it on the ROM burner. There is a programmer which is a ROM burner, and on this you can put the IC and then you can burn this. Okay. So but this type of the ROM usually takes too much time, as too much high voltage for the programming purpose. Okay. So that's how we can basically program our ultraviolet UV EPROM. So it may be asked in the exam, so you students are advised to read this thing basically. EEPROM is the electrically erasable programmable ROM. EEPROM has several advantages over UV EPROM, such as fact that its method to erasure is electrical and therefore instant, as opposed to the 20-minute erasure time required for the UV EPROM. So basically for the UV EPROM we required so much time, but for the EEPROM we do not require too much time, and it is very beneficial for the users. In addition, in a EEPROM, one can select which byte need to be erased, and but in UV EPROM there is a very hard to delete the delete the content, and we cannot select that which byte we need to be deleted. However, the main advantage of the EEPROM is that one can program and erase its contents while it is still in the system board, and it does not require any physical removal of the memory chip and from its socket. In other words, unlike UV EEPROM does not require any external eraser or any programming device. To utilize EEPROM fully, the designer must incorporate the circuitry to the programmer the EEPROM into the system board. In general, the cost per bit for the EEPROM is much higher than that of the UV EEPROM. So about the DRAM is widely used in digital electronics where low cost and high capacity memory is required. Dynamic RAM and DRAM is used where the very high level of the memory density are needed, although against it is the quite power hungry, and so this needs to be considered if it is to be used. As the name DRAM, the dynamic RAM access memory implies it is the form of the memory technology, is a type of the random access memory. It stores each bit of the data on a small capacitor within the memory cell. So the capacitor can be either charged or discharged, and this provides the two states of one or zero. Okay, for the cell. Since the charge within the capacitor leaks, it is necessary to refresh each memory cell periodically. This refresh equipment gives rise to the term dynamic static memories do not have the need to be refreshed. Okay, the advantage of the DRAM is the simplicity of the cell, and if it also requires a single transistor compared to the around 6 transistors in the SRAM. So that is one of the most advantage of this RAM, and it can be used. It is a volatile memory, and this memory can be used. Memory technologies such as flash are non-volatile and retain the data even when the power is removed. So this memory is very important, and today now these days DRAM is mostly used because of its high density, and SRAM is also used for where the data is need to be achieved faster, and SRAM is used mainly in the cache memory of the microcontrollers or microprocessors. So in my next lecture I will tell you about the 8051 microcontroller. Thank you for this lecture.